talk about today's main news story, really, and that is, of course, those scenes overnight of unrest in a number of parts of the country, actually. Police cars were set on fire and offices were attacked in Manchester, also in Hartlepool, and more than 100 people were arrested in London. Some believe that the unrest was fuelled by online fake news in response to the horrific stabbing in Southport on Monday, when, of course, 3 little girls lost their lives, baby Alice and Elsie. Oh. Nadia, how do you feel watching what has unfolded?
Well, it's interesting. Our friend Matty, producer, has just texted, I think he sent it to all of us, saying, Hartlepool, 99% of the town are appalled by last night. Most of my Facebook feed is people horrified, and they're already setting up groups for clean-ups. And I think it's really easy to get very terrified very quickly and feel like this is everywhere. But as I always say, I truly believe there are more good people than bad people, but often bad people shout out loud, more loudly often. How I felt was a mixture of things.
Do you think the protesters are bad people?
No.
No, but there's a big difference between rioting and protesting as well, Kaye.
No,
I think we shouldn't get confused.
Yeah, no, I think bad actions. I think that, you know, I feel a mixture of fear, a mixture of sadness, a mixture of real sadness, because I think if for a lot of these people, if tomorrow you threw every single immigrant out of the country, right, tomorrow, by next week, will their lives have changed? No, not a bit of it. Because actually what's going wrong in your life isn't just about immigrants. It's about, I feel, often government after government throwing red meat so you gnaw it over there, so you don't see all the other ways that they're letting you down. And they are letting people down. And poverty in this country is an absolute disgrace. But I'm sorry, nothing is down to one thing. But on a personal level, I do feel quite anxious about it, because I think just by what we've seen this week, getting it wrong, attacking a mosque, we know nothing. Yeah. We don't know what religion this person is.
One other little thing, well, not a little thing, it's actually a major thing. We found out literally in the last couple of minutes that a decision has been taken to name the suspect in this case. God. And, of course, there was much speculation about the name of the suspect. But this has been released by the court. And the name is Axel Rudakabana. Obviously, that won't mean much to you at this particular time, but it is a name that obviously we will become very familiar with. And, you know, there has been pressure to release the name of the suspect, because initially, when the stabbing happened, we know that online there was lots of different stories shared, and one was a completely different name and attached a completely different identity to the individual. Marlene, to what extent do you feel that we are being carried along on a social media fake news roller coaster here?
I think it's actually engulfing all of us, because this has been proven to have come from a source that is not true. So we've got something called Channel 3 here that was apparently meant to be an American channel. This is all apparently, but now it's been linked to a Russian site. And this has been shut down now because it's been proven that the information that it was spewing out was incorrect. Let's get back to the heart of what the story is. There's 3 little girls who have been murdered here, and there is rightful fear and anger and huge that's hugely manifesting into the community. But the families themselves have said this is not what we want. And the sad thing here is this feels like it's like a few drops of blood have been dropped into the ocean, and the sharks are they're coming for whoever they can get, whether they're politicians who are putting out the rhetoric of we're being told this, but what else are they hiding? And it just makes that subterfuge. It makes everyone start questioning, well, what are they hiding? Again, it's that idea of, I do it with my own children, look, diversion, so they don't look anywhere else. There are people who are so frustrated with their own circumstances, they will blame anything
and anybody.
And that's what's happening here, and that manifestation is what we're seeing. We're seeing police in riot gear, people throwing rocks, we're seeing flames on our front pages.
We need our politicians, they're the only people we can look to,
stand up and try and explain things to people, you know?
I don't know if you can explain anything to those people there. There's children who are lying in a morgue and there's people throwing rocks.
Yeah.
It's a real...
The thing is, as well, you know, to move it, you know, away from this particular situation, talk about rioting. And I don't think we must remember that rioting and protesting are different things. We are all allowed to protest, you know, safely.
And too much longer,
peaceful
I reckon.
protest. You know, I know there was talk of even banning that a few years ago, but we are allowed to do that. It's a big difference. I think as well, you know, the advent of social media has got so much to blame. There's so many wonderful things, you know, with social media and what we can do with it. But just generally, sometimes ignorance was bliss. There has always been riots. There has always been dissension. There has always been people who are more vocal. But sometimes we know too much now, so it terrifies us. You know, there used to be the 6 o'clock news. I mean, people are going to think that I'm trying to shut down the voices. I'm not. But there is so much noise now because of so much social media, so much misinformation. The politicians are not clear. We know that people have an issue because they don't understand illegal immigration. If we mention those words, people go racist, racist. We want our politicians to explain that, as you say, Nadia, this is not the, you know, solving that is not the answer to all the questions. But they won't talk to us. They won't say anything. I've asked, you know, I texted Wes Streeting the other day. I've texted another few Labour politicians to basically say, I want to help and support this government as much as possible. But I need you to give me answers to things, to how we sort of, you know, can close down certain arguments. And there is no answer. They managed to have a press conference every day during COVID.
People's lives better, so they're not looking for one group to blame.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree with you, but people need answers. It's communication. They need more communication as to what's happening. But the great thing is...
But better education, better hospitals, more investment. That makes people's lives better.
Listen, guys, we are going to return to this inevitably.
Yeah.
We will return to this conversation because...
But the fact is, the clean-up, everybody's come together in those places like Hartlepool and Manchester, and that's what we should be celebrating as well.
Let's remember that and put that front and centre, and also remember those 3 little girls.